Hello class. I certainly hope that you had a good time visiting churches, that you had some good experiences. Well, this is week 10 of our multicultural ministry class, and we're talking about principles for intercultural ministry, specifically humility. So humility is central when you're thinking about multicultural ministry. Most churches are structured in a top-down fashion where power is at the top, and in most cases, when power is located at the very top, people at the bottoms don't have very much voice, particularly if you are one of those marginalized groups that come into the church or have some sort of existence in a church setting where you're not a part of the decision making. People that are not invited to the table often don't have very much to say, they're not heard. In order for multicultural ministry to work best, there has to be humility. That is central to being multicultural. This week I'd like for you to watch a video by Tim Weiss, and it's called White Like Me. He explores the idea of being white, and he asks people the question, what does it mean to be white? And what's amazing is that you can ask people of various ethnic backgrounds what it means to be black or Hispanic, and they can share their experiences in ways that are well articulated. But when he asks individuals from the white community what it means to be white, they have a hard time identifying what that means. And so I'd like for you to watch this film, not just in these conversations about what it means to be white and how that relates to people of other ethnicities, but this idea of power and privilege, what that might mean in church settings where space is not equally shared. So consider that and recognize, if you can, those subtle nuances that often go unnoticed by some but are felt by other people. I want you to reflect on the video. Ask yourself whether or not it reflects truth, whether or not it's sharing your own experiences, if it addresses the experiences that you have or have had in the past. So look for its veracity, its truthfulness. All the claims that it makes, are they reasonable? Does he come up with a good solution to the problem? Is the United States a racist society? And if it is, what can the church do to bring correction to that reality? I want you to remember also that multicultural ministry is not a set of new actions that we do in church settings, but it is a new set of sensibilities on how we practice ministry in ways that contextualize those ministry actions. So we're not creating a new set of things to do, but we're trying to be sensitive to every group that is represented in the church. So hopefully this film will help us to think about what it means to do multicultural ministry. Also, I'd like for you to read Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, and answer the question, how does this passage of Scripture relate to race and privilege? When you read it, how does it relate to race and privilege? And then if you can provide a few ways in which the church can provide shared respect, I'd like for you to do that if possible. For this week's reading and forms, read Lingenfelter 104 to 170. And also our form number 10 is about God's communication strategy. And it asks the question, when God seeks to communicate, he moves into the receptor's frame of reference. And can you describe a biblical example and then a personal example? And I'll give you a hint. Oftentimes when God speaks to people, he does not approach them in language or ideas that are foreign to that individual, but he finds a way to meet people where they are in the frames of reference that are familiar to those individuals. So I want you to consider that. Look at some stories. Try to see if you can locate places where God comes to our level and speaks to us in our frame of reference, and how that might be used for church ministry. I'm looking forward to reading your posts and your assignments. I've enjoyed them. I'll be writing back to you this week, returning your work, and I look forward to seeing you. God bless.